Vardaan 1. The Ultimate Boon. Written by Mr. Deepak Sadia. Chapter 24. If you ask, you will get. Coming out of Uttarasadaka Gurukul, Batuk felt that he had ruined his life because of his mistake. Although his conscience did not accept that, he felt that he was not able to deny the words of his greatest Pradhanacharya based on his meager intelligence. Returning to his hut, Batuk came to know the truth that the thought of poverty that had arisen in his mind due to fear had its real birth in the mind of his wife. Batuk was surprised as well as happy. Getting spoiled is a normal thing, but only those who restore the spoiled situation are called heroes. Batuk had the opportunity to become the hero of his story. That opportunity was given to him by the stupidity of his drunkard master. Brahma Kal had already started in between the conversation. So Batuk and Swara did not wake up the next morning. When both of them woke up in the afternoon, there was a lot of difference in their mental states. Swara was worried about getting up late, but Batuk woke up with new energy. Batuk knew the goal, and he had also seen the way to achieve the goal. Batuk immediately started his efforts. He sowed 4 seeds each in the 4 fields of the landowner and waited. Plants did not emerge for 15 days. When Batuk dug up the seeds, he found that the seeds were hollow. There were only their outer layers left. How foolish of me, the seeds on which 40 acres have been staked, how can they be hackneyed? Batuk scoffed at himself. Batuk decided to find out more information about those seeds. After showing the seeds to many experienced farmers, elders and Vaidyas of the surrounding, he consulted deeply with them. 15 more days passed, and apart from the unsuccessful results of 20 pages, nothing came to his hand. Batuk was deeply disappointed. You don't like being sad, keep trying. Mother Nature can answer any time, Swara said while giving courage to Batuk. Swarale's efforts gave hope to Batuk again. He realized that both of them were thinking in the same direction. Batuk thought again, flipping through the pages of his research. Batuk found that till now he had tried everything possible. He had tried every method and every trick. He realized that even though he had not achieved the desired results, what he had achieved had increased his farming knowledge tenfold within a month. Batuk realized that he was on the right track. Mother Nature is giving him the basic knowledge to become an expert in farming. He thanked Mother Nature from the depths of his soul. Just at that moment, an idea flashed in his mind. The beggar must have grown these seeds in his fields. That's why he gave so many seeds to Zamindar Rakesh Chandra. Then Batuk planned to secretly go to the fields of the opponents. Within a few days, he got a big shock when he came to know that those seeds were not grown in the fields of any 5 landowners. Their servants and farm laborers did not know anything about seeds. Batuk's 11-day run was ruined again. Batuk was returning sadly when he received a message from an old farmer. He immediately went to meet him. Ants eat the seeds in the ground itself, that is why they become hollow lying in the ground. The old farmer told. It was the first small step towards the big way of Batuk's success. There is something that attracts ants to these seeds so much that they eat them deep in the soil. Batuk thought in his mind. After thanking the old farmer, Batuk went towards his house. Thinking came to Batuk's mind that a very large-scale variation of soil is also possible. Who knows whether these seeds have a habit of a particular soil and climate? It is also possible that it is the seed of another country. Surrounded by all such questions, Batuk reached the zamindar, took a horse, and set out on a journey. Batuk had thought of going somewhere else, but he did not know why he went toward a well-known mound. Batuk could see his barren field from time to time. In the absence of Batuk, Rakesh Chandra did not let Swara lack anything. Swara found that even her mistress's behavior had changed a bit towards her. Batuk went on sowing 4 seeds each in the fields of different soils of every village he came across on the way. The way of the 4-day mound was covered by Batuk in 7 days. On reaching the mound, Batuk saw that the crops of the fields had been harvested and a new crop had been sown. 2 men were collecting things in the hut. After talking, Batuk came to know that those 2 were assistants of Dev, Jagdish and Rasik, who were returning to their homes after harvesting. The men also told Batuk that in a few days, 2 more assistants would come here to take care of the fields until the harvest. Only then did Batuk understand the secret of his barren field and the green fields of his friends. Batuk went to his farm and apologized to him, and promised that he would take care of him like friends. He thanked nature and started digging. Both the men were surprised to see his spirit. After working hard for 3 days and 3 nights, Batuk plowed his field. After 1 day he sowed in 9 different ways. Water was available in the ponds built by them. So he did not face any problems with irrigation in the absence of rain. The 8th morning brought happiness to him. Yellow-colored plants were rising above the earth. The land of the mound had given him the old happiness again. He wanted to run away to tell this good news to Swara, but he did not do so. He waited till the new men arrived. During that, he saw that out of the 9 methods he tried, 3 were successful. He wrote down his experiment in detail. The new assistants who came after 10 days were scared. They thought the owners had hired a new servant because of their delay. Batuk's pitiable condition did not even give them a chance to doubt their thinking. Batuk cleared his doubts in no time. The assistants, instead of Batuk's rags, noticed Batuk's muzzle and his horse tied near the hut, and were convinced that Batuk was not the new servant hired in their place. Being happy, the new assistants offered to take care of Batuk's farm free of cost. The wait for Batuk is over. Taking the soil from the mound, thanking his farm and Mother Nature, he returned home. While returning, the seeds sown by him had grown in some places. The soil and climate there were somewhat similar to the soil and climate of the mound. He noticed another special thing in those fields as well as on the mound: only those seeds grew which were sown at a far distance from the rest of the seeds. Batuk's study reached a firm conclusion. According to Batuk's study, the seeds needed a special climate, a special soil, as well as diseases were also given to the seeds. That disease used to become more powerful when it came in contact with other seeds. Therefore, for the seeds to grow along with special soil and special climate, treatment was also required, so that they could be freed from diseases. Having won half the battle, Batuk returned to his present abode, i.e. hut. Swara became very happy to see her husband healthy after so many days. She wanted to know about his well-being from him, but Batuk told Swara everything about his discovery. Swara could not believe it. "I do not understand how to cure the seeds, and how did these seeds grow on the mound? Please give me some advice," Batuk asked. Swarale's happiness kept on hearing the question. "Being illiterate, how can I advise to knowledgeable person like you?" Swara replied slowly. "Nobody has a monopoly on thoughts. They can come to anyone's mind at any time. There is a need to create an environment suitable for thoughts to grow on the soil of the mind. That's why you think about the seeds. Who knows, you might find some solution," Batuk requested to Swara. Swara took Batuk's request as a command, and started studying soil as well as seeds. "Don't know if I am right or wrong. All the soils brought by you have a special quality. Their particles are very well connected. Water holds them together like other soils, but when the water dries up, it does not disintegrate like other soils." Swara presented her opinion. "You are right, Swara. When air cannot pass through them, how can bacteria pass through them? That's why they don't spread much." It just came out of Batuk's mouth. "Did you just say bacteria?" Swara asked like a scientist. "Yes, it is not the ants that destroy them but the bacteria. Bacteria destroy these seeds while reacting with soil, air and water." Batuk gave his opinion. "You are absolutely right," Swara said, looking at the ground. Some seeds fell from Batuk's bundle and fell in the middle of the herd of ants. The ants were not even going near them. By ordering seeds from far away, they infected them with diseases. After that, they placed bets. They knew that the soil and climate of any of the master's fields would not prove helpful in growing these seeds. The master's cunning friends have crossed the limits. They knew that they would win the bet anyway. That's why they had put all their land at stake. I have a solution for this, Swara said, thinking. Please say, Batuk asked optimistically. Swara brought some leaves from outside. This is neem, Azadiracta indica, Batuk asked in a questioning manner. No, sir, the species is neem only, but many times more effective than ordinary neem, Swara said with a twinkle in her eyes. What's your plan? Batuk asked thoughtfully. If we keep these seeds soaked in the solution of these leaves for a few days, then definitely the bacteria will disappear, Swara replied like an in-house scientist. Batuk fell into thought. We will not soak them, wrap them in leaves and bury them in the ground, Batuk said, considering all the possibilities. That would work? When Swara asked, Batuk smiled. Half the work will be done. The remaining half will be done by the determination of my friend Dev, Batuk spoke with a victorious expression on his face. I don't understand anything. Is Dev Baisab brother coming to help us? Swara asked in confusion. He cannot come, but his thoughts will help us. Actually, once on the mound he had said that if the soil was not found on the mound even after digging a lot, he would dig it out from the forest, bring it to the mound, and fill it in the pit. He will go to any extent, but will stop only after growing the crop. Batuk replied. Swara understood the plan. She was happy. There was something special in Swarale's happiness that Batuk recognized. Tell me the truth, dear, what did you ask from Mother Nature? Batuk asked, coaxing Swara. Didn't ask for anything untoward. What did you ask for, Swara Devi? Interrupting Swara, Batuk said with folded hands. Swara understood that there was no use in hiding now, as Batuk had understood. All I wanted was for the two of us to solve this puzzle together. When Swara said innocently, Batuk started laughing. On the one hand, you tell me not to lose courage, and on the other hand you want us to do this work together. You made the same mistake again. Because of you, the solution was not found for so many days. You wanted to do both together, and I was doing the unknowingly alone. Even today I forcibly asked you for help. If I had not told you, you would not have said anything and we would have been confused like this. Would you have at least told me what was going through your mind? Batuk explained everything without getting angry. I'm sorry, my lord, now I understand better. Swara said, a little scared. Please keep in mind that before asking anything from Mother Nature, tell me directly. Batuk said seriously. Swara smilingly apologizes, and Batuk caresses her head lovingly. The very next moment, Batuk went to Zamindar Rakesh Chandra. 20 days later, 50 bullock cart drivers and laborers along with them came to the Haveli of Zamindar Rakesh Chandra from a long distance. The bullock carts were completely covered, and the language of the laborers was completely different from their. No one had a clue of what was in the bullock carts, and the workers could not talk to anyone. In the center of the Haveli, there was a part without a roof which was secretly dug by the 4 most trusted servants of the landlord. The laborers filled the special soil in that part from the bullock carts. 10 such rounds of bullock carts were made. Every time the bullock cart drivers and laborers were changed. What was going on all this, Rakesh Chandra had no idea about it. He was treating Batuk's suggestions like orders. One night Batuk and Swara take out the seeds from the ground and sow them in the newly prepared field inside the Haveli. Batuk's prediction turned out to be correct. It rained intermittently for 4 days in those 10 days. Due to that, the soil neither dried properly nor did it become wet like mud. Together they watered that field every day in the same way even after the rains. 15 days had passed. The secret from the Zamindar Rakesh Chandra could not be tolerated any longer. He went to that field without getting permission from Batuk. When Batuk and Swara came, they saw Rakesh Chandra beaming with joy. You should have at least told me that you have grown plants, Rakesh Chandra said with a sigh. I don't trust your digestive power. When Batuk said, Rakesh Chandra laughed. Rakesh Chandra kept on laughing for a long time. Batuk and Swara were also happy with his happiness. We wanted the plants to grow well, only then would we tell you and everyone else, Swara said. There is no need for that. The condition in the document only states that the seeds are to be grown. It doesn't matter how big the plants are. Rakesh Chandra replied, smiling happily. Then suddenly Rakesh Chandra broke down in tears. He thanked Batuk many times for his favor. Batuk had saved the Zamindar Rakesh Chandra from becoming a pauper. Hugging Batuk, Rakesh Chandra went away with his chest wide. Exactly a week later, Swara Batuk became the owner of 20 acres of land. The impoverished landlords tried their best, but they could not solve the mystery of how these seeds grow in that area. Only then did Zamindar Rakesh Chandra understand every secret trick of Batuk Swara. Keeping in mind the talk of Batuk about digestive power, Rakesh Chandra held his tongue and did not reveal the reality to his former friends who pleaded. Who knows, tomorrow I may have to use this trick again. Rakesh Chandra thought. It was time to sow the crop. Batuk and Swara cultivated 19 acres for themselves, and 1 acre for the Uttarasadaka Gurukul. When the harvest came after 4 months, the old owners of the lands were surprised to see that their fields had produced more grain this time than every other time. After sending 1 acre of grain to the Uttarasadaka Gurukul, Batuk and Swara returned to their village and went straight to the king's court. With the profit they made by selling all the crops of their 19 acres, they repaid everyone's debt and also gave compensation for many years. While people were surprised, the king was feeling guilty after seeing the pure intention of Batuk. He was relieved that after Batuk's letter, he did not misbehave with his father. He gave his royal chariot to Batuk Swara to reach home. Both reached their home with great pride. Where mother and sisters were happy, father went first and wore the turban. That turban was adorned on his head after many years. Hugging Batuk and blessing Swara, he went around the village wearing a turban. My Batuk is not a cheater. Batuk's father had been crying for many years saying, but no one believed him. Today, everyone has to obey the words of that proud father. My son also compensated for the loss, and also paid compensation for so many years. My son was honest yesterday and is honest today. Batuk's father tirelessly told that to everyone he met. When Batuk looked at Swara with his eyes wet with happiness, something was visible in her eyes. He panicked. No, don't do this at all. Tell me before asking anything from Mother Nature, Batuk said pleadingly. Why do you worry, sir? Now I don't ask for anything stupid. Swara said. What did you ask for? Batuk asked sternly. I have only asked for a cattle shed this time, Swara told the truth. Batuk heaved a sigh of relief. Just then he felt something strange. Only cattle shed? Batuk asked seriously. Swara started smiling after hearing this. Yes, only cattle shed, the biggest cattle shed of this state, Swara told her whole truth. Hearing so, Batuk gave such expressions as if he was expecting something like that. And what about the fields? Batuk asked Swara, reminding her of her farmland. Swara came close to Batuk to answer. Running her fingers through his hair, she started showing affection. The fields are ours. What is wrong with having a cattle shed along with the fields? When Swara asked innocently, Batuk laughed. Tathasta. When Batuk said, Swara jumped with happiness. The next morning Batuk Swara gave all the remaining money to their father and took a job in a cattle shed. When they were busy learning the work of animals, their farmland produced profit through the next crop. Swara Batuk got the biggest cattle shed built. The cattle shed had become big, but their money fell short of the maximum number of animals. 6 months were left for the next crop, so Swarale's restlessness started increasing. Batuk could not bear the Swarale's restlessness. A special guest had arrived in the Haveli of Zamindar Rakesh Chandra, that guest because of whom Rakesh Chandra was still a Zamindar. Don't embarrass yourself by asking for a loan. You have given 20 acres in addition to me. No, in the true sense, All 70 acres of mine have been given by you only. Rakesh Chandra spoke. Rakesh Chandra immediately went to his money room and came back with a box. This is the profit of those 20 acres from the last 2 crops. I had kept them aside for some noble cause. What better job than to come to your aid? But you will get this money on only one condition. You will return me only the principal and not the interest. Rakesh Chandra spoke happily. Batuk did not like that at all. But he had a need. He thought for a while. Okay, I will not give, but you will have to accept a 10% share in my cattle shed. Batuk accepted Rakesh Chandra's interest-free condition and told him about his condition. Now Rakesh Chandra got thinking. Batuk was returning the interest in another way. He also thought for a while. Accepted, but I also have a condition. For a long time, I have had the desire to do a fruit business. You have to accept my share of 50% in that business. Before you refuse, let me tell you that I will definitely take 50% from you. Rakesh Chandra accepted Batuk's condition and told his new condition. Batuk once again fell into thought. In a few days, Swarale's cattle shed was ready with many animals. Swara was very happy. The next morning she found her luggage tied up. Before she asked Batuk, Batuk asked her, "Has there ever been a desire for a fruit business?" Hearing so, Swara smiled and nodded in yes. "Then pick up the bundle," said Batuk with a smile, and both of them went to learn the work of fruits.